afternoon. The regular meeting of the Vallecitos Water District for February 7th, 2024 will come to order. Before we begin, I will read an announcement to members of the public. Members of the public may watch the meeting live via computer or smart device by going to the district's website and clicking on the Watch Live icon. However, they will not be able to participate in the meeting remotely. Members of the public may also listen to the meeting live on their phone by dialing 888-788-0099 toll-free or 877-853-5247, also toll-free. When prompted, enter the meeting ID and passcode displayed on the district website. And I will lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will do roll call first. Please indicate your attendance. One minute, my monitor is booting up. Okay, we have 4 present with Vice President Pinnock absent. Do we have any additions to the agenda, General Manager?
Yes, we do. Staff is requesting removal of item 2.3. This item was requested by Director Pinnock to be placed on the next board meeting, which is this board meeting. However, Director Pinnock is not here to discuss it, so with this, at the board's pleasure, staff is requesting removal of that item.
That seems absolutely reasonable. It was his wishes for this to be placed on the agenda, and I would like to hear his thoughts on it. So with that, may I have a motion to adopt the agenda for the regular meeting with the exception of item 2.3?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. And the motion passes with Director Pinnock absent. Do we have any public speakers?
No, we do not.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. First up is presentations. Director Joe McKenzie from the Vista Irrigation District is here with us today to present Directors Elitharp and Hernandez with certificates from the California Special District Leadership Foundation.
Director?
Thank you, President. Appreciate the opportunity. What I have here is really just a replacement for their certificate of attending the Leadership Academy and continuing with their 10 hours of continuing ed, so that they have the change was in the name, certificate versus recognition. Came to our attention, the SDLS board's attention, that many people just thought, well, recognition doesn't purport what the importance is of having completed those courseworks. So it's my pleasure to give you another piece of paper for your file, but don't get excited. It's basically the same piece of paper with a different name.
Thank you, Director McKenzie. It is, we take pride here at Vallecitos for our transparency in completing these certification processes. And I understand that there's an interesting story behind these certificates as well, isn't there?
I'm sorry, what?
There's an interesting story behind these certificates, isn't there?
I'm not sure. It depends on which back doors you're talking about.
Right, I understand that these certificates have been a little while in the making or in the coming, but they were recently located, and so they're being presented this evening.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for being here to present them.
I also asked if I could go ahead and give some information regarding CSDA, LAFCO, and part of what this certificate it actually means, and the importance that the 2 directors found that it was necessary for them to get their sons educated also. But the certificate and they call it the Certificate in Special District Governance. Basically, it honors the board members and staff who complete the Special District Leadership Academy, plus an additional 10 hours of continuing ed. The Leadership Academy is a 4-day academy, and the next one is in San Diego, April 14th to the 17th. And in that academy, you've got the role in human resources, governance foundations, the board's role in human resources and finance and fiscal accountability, along with setting direction. And I think as all of you have attended various conferences, you also get a chance to network. And I think that's probably just as important as sitting there and having these one-on-one conversations relevant to these sections, because you meet people from all over the state, even though it's in San Diego. People from the north will come down here just because it's San Diego, and hopefully it's not raining in April. But you have the networking, and that's important. And they have that. They have a reception Sunday evening, basically just for that purpose. Also, just a quick overview that if the majority of the directors have their certificate and the district would maintain their district of distinction silver medal right now, and I think probably it's either this year or next year, these rotate every 3 years, you have to re-up. And they look at, okay, how many directors, you have all the new directors, well now, have they taken and gone to the academy and got their certificate along with their 10 hours? You go to Aqua CSDA conference, you have your 10 hours right there. You don't, but there's also webinars. I'm sure your general manager has given you the information, and you've gotten it from CSDA, that all of the webinars are free to CSDA members. So you have that opportunity. So there's always been a friendly competition between VID and Vallecitos as to who was going to be what. And I'm sorry, Vallecitos is still silver. But all you need to do is get the majority of your board, all of your board members, plus your general manager, and you can move up one echelon, so you could be gold. But that's, like I said, that's always been a kind of a ongoing, mainly because I knew Mr. Hernandez from way back when we were both younger and didn't have gray hair. Also, just a real quick on elections. This is what I call the silly season. We have the elections for, we just got through with the elections for the Aqua Board, and now we're going into the CSDA Board of Directors. My seat is up, and I'm going to be running again, but that nomination period ends April 10th. Also, then the LAFCO, and I noticed you have it on your agenda. That regular position is also up, and I'm going to be running for that. Special districts have 2 seats on LAFCO. Not all LAFCOs have special districts on their commission, but San Diego has had special districts on their commission ever since, basically since the 1960s when LAFCOs were first formed. So we always have that seat, so then they rotate. The other gentleman from, I think he's Alpine or Julian, I never remember the two. But he was up for election last year, and my seat is up for election this year. What's interesting, this year LAFCO has a real full plate. We have 20 high priority MSRs that we're going to be doing, municipal service reviews. And a couple of them, just to highlight the work that is done on that committee, is we're doing the Metropolitan, looking at governance, finance, boundaries, spheres, latent powers, and then also the County Water Authority, looking at this, basically the same thing. Along with those 2 major MSRs, we're working on the MSR for the 4 hospital districts, Palomar basically is looking at expanding their boundaries, and the other three are very hesitant about being taken over by Palomar. So that's going to be a very interesting report that comes out. And these reports aren't your regular 20, 30, 40-page reports. Just a heads up, the one that we did for Rainbow and Fallbrook, they ran about 600 and some pages. So there's a lot of backdoor studying before you get to the commission. And the commission meets first Monday of the month, 8 o'clock, down at the county building. So, and then the other one is the advisory committee. Their elections have been postponed because there was discussion at their last meeting that they were looking at going to a 4-year term versus a 2-year term. So again, that meeting is up on the 15th of March. So those nomination papers and nomination information should come out. And sitting on the advisory committee gives you a good head start on them being able to serve on LAFCO. Aqua committees, they're still accepting membership onto those committees that do not have a limit on their number. San Diego chapter, we're having our dinner meeting on February 15th down at the butcher shop in Kearney Mesa. And then one of the other important things, and I don't know how much information everybody gets, but there was information regarding the fact that came through the advocacy news that the CSDA filed an amicus as it relates to the proposition that's going to be theoretically on the ballot, and you've heard about it, that the governor and the former pro tem filed an emergency declaration with the Supreme Court, California Supreme Court, to block this proposition going on to the ballot, period. It has that nomenclature. I think if you've read any of these propositions, they always, the headline is always, motherhood and apple pie, and it's not until you get to about page 15 that you find out that it's really not what it's cut out to be. And this one is basically, let me find here. It's called the Taxpayers Protection and Government Accountability Act. It was propositioned by the California Business Roundtable. It is a 501c3 with a 5-member board. But they have been able to get beaucoup bucks from Pepsi, State Farm, Mercury Insurance. I mean, just a whole long laundry list of big name companies, corporations. But basically what it does, the short story is any of your fees or any of your bonds or COPs or revenue bonds that you want to do would all have to go to the public for a vote. You raise your fees. I don't know how often you do a time and motion study on your fees, but we do it every year. And we raise it according to the increase in salaries and in the increase in the product itself. So the $2 fitting that we charged 2 years ago is now $5. So we go through that and we make the adjustment. That adjustment for those types of fees would have to go to your constituents to be approved, which after a year or two, your reserves are going to be relatively low. And the real kicker is the simple fact that 2 years, this is retroactive, not to January 1 of 2024, but 2 years back. So it goes back to January 1, 2022. And if you've raised your rates like we raised our fees this year, we would have to basically take them back to what they were in 2022 or go to the vote of our constituents. So that's it's something that really needs to be watched. And let's see, the only other thing that I have is some dates. You've got the Special District Leadership Foundation. I'm not sorry, that one, that's a board meeting that I have, sorry. The Special District Legislative Days, that's in May, 21st and 22nd, and that's in Sacramento. And then we have the GM Summit, which is going to be in Anaheim, and that's the 23rd to the 25th. And it's not just for GMs, be your assistant GM, some of your, higher staff positioned members. And then our annual conference is in Indian Wells, September 9th to 11th. And it will be there at the Marriott. And the one thing nice about that, you're not going to have to be going back and forth between the Marriott and the Hyatt like we did for Aqua. And then the board secretary, that's going to be in San Diego. So I know you have a relatively new board secretary. That may be of a benefit to them for October 21st and then 23rd. And then I got a quick personal question. Are all of you getting the Special District magazine? Y'all getting that? Good job. You got them all signed up. Okay. And then you should also be getting the advocacy news. That comes out in an email. But basically, you can go on the website and check what you want and how often you want the information. So as long as you're getting that. And then my other comment is I noticed, I think it was in the Aqua News, is that you received an award from the AWWA. Is that correct? Do I have the right district?
We've received a few, but it's been a little bit since we received the AWWA award.
But that wasn't it in the Aqua News just in the last couple months?
I don't believe so.
Well,
I think
you
it was
got
about
it
a year
anyway.
ago.
My comment is, put that information in, article in, and send it into CSDA, because they're always looking for, information from each of the districts. Also, we're doing a new website, which should be fun, in the middle of the year. And what they're asking for is for pictures. Your building, your reservoir, something of personal, mainly because that way when they do these articles, they're not just pulling off of the standard website picture and put in a fire engine that says Albany, New York on it. They can put one in that says, San Marcos Fire Protection District. So that's all. Thank you. I'll answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Thank you for that,
Thank you.
wealth of information. So you've thrown down the gauntlet for the leadership, the CSDA, so that we can maybe try to enter into a friendly competition with Vista. So thank you. We understand. For the benefit of the public, and you might want to answer this, Joe. For the benefit of the public, can you say what LAFCO is? I think most people don't know what LAFCO is, what its mandate is. And then I've got a couple of follow-ups. I don't know if anybody else has questions, but I've got a couple of follow-ups.
LAFCO is a local agency formation commission, and it was formed in about the 70s, early 70s, like 73, somewhere in there. But prior to that, the boundaries, there was another I think it was the California Reorganization Committee. And what that, basically our tenet is to review boundaries, sphere of influence, latent powers, and with these MSRs, municipal service reviews, about 15 years ago, legislation required that LAFCOs do them on each agency, each governmental agency within their purview every 5 years. So the Vista and San Marcos area is coming up for review also. The Water Authority and Met, San Diego LAFCO has never done an MSR on that, on those agencies. And they also looked in at governments and the finance and, where your finances were 5 years ago and compare them to where they are today.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so you mentioned the Fallbrook and Rainbow issue. That's something that's been recently in the news, that LAFCO had a decision-making hand in. So can you explain a little, because that's something that impacts our constituency. And so can you sort of make that a little bit real, talk about that process and how you voted on that particular issue?
Sure. Rainbow and Fallbrook are what they call a farming community with McMansions, as I call it. But they supposedly, theoretically, can get water cheaper from Western than what they can through the Water Authority. So they wanted to go, they'd save $25, basically, they said, a month for their customers. And so therefore, they wanted to, take their water and get the water from up north versus the Water Authority. Now, Fallbrook had no problems. They have a connection. The Metropolitan line comes about 6 miles in past the county line. Fallbrook has connections directly to that line. So they never get what we would call any drops of the Water Authority. Whereas Rainbow, I think they only have one connection that far north, and they are now waiting until they can get their pump station, which is somewhere in Illinois being made, and it is a prefab pump station. It comes out on a flat bed and they put it on the ground. But they're looking at having to, wait and to do that. Rainbow or Fallbrook has already detached. So they are no longer a member of the CWA. And as I understand it from our meeting this morning, at this last meeting, the Water Authority revisited the percentage. So our percentage went down probably about 0.5%. And if you're familiar with the Water Authority, usually it's on a, yays and nays, but if it gets close or if it's contentious, then they will do it by percentage. The city of San Diego has about a 40+% in voting power. And then and that's been a contentious issue, and that will probably come up and be one of the long dissertations that's going to be there in the MSR, is their voting system. Mm-hmm. But it's the same as what Sandag has and Metropolitan has. So it's going to be interesting to see what their proposal is to do that, because City of San Diego only needs 2 other large districts, Padre Dam and Otay. And they can pass basically anything they want. And that's the same issue that comes up, and I'm sure you've heard it from your mayor here, with the voting power at Sandag.
Mm-hmm. So particularly regarding the issue of the separation of Rainbow and Fallbrook, how did you vote on that issue?
They had that when I was out of town.
You were out of town when that happened?
I was out of town. Mm-hmm. They held we are dark in July. Mm-hmm. So I made I went to a conference with my husband in Boston, and we expanded that for another week there. Mm-hmm. LAFCO voted to hold their meeting on the first, well, actually, I think maybe the second, I don't know when they had their meeting. It was either the Tuesday or the Monday following. And everybody had known for months that I had those plans, because those plans were already, signed, sealed, and basically paid for long before this came about, because this was one of those issues, and the commissioners were, most unhappy about it, because this was supposed to have come to the commission in December. Then it was supposed to come in January, and then it got, flipped to March. So it just kept getting postponed and postponed. Mm-hmm. And it fell when I wasn't there. So my alternate, we have alternate David Drake from Rincon del Diablo. He voted in my place.
How would you have voted? I'm curious.
I don't think this is the appropriate place to
Okay.
discuss that.
Okay.
Director,
That's
President
fair.
Boyd Hodgson, I just want to say one thing. So to Director McKenzie, I've already signed up for the Leadership Academy, so I'm on my way, so we could get and hopefully match or beat VID. And I thank you very much for your time today. So.
Okay, thank you.
Any
Thank
other
you for being
questions?
here. Any other questions? Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, I think we have one more presentation. General Manager Gumpel will recognize new hires, staff achievements, and organization awards.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. So as the board's aware, quarterly we bring new hires and staff achievements to the board. And this period now is for the period starting October 1st to December 31st. We have one new hire in that period, and during the holiday season, that's not uncommon to have a little slowdown in this, is Seth White. He started as a construction worker. So Seth is not here today. But another person who is here is Ann Lopez, who received her associate's degree in water technology from Palomar College. Ann, will you stand up? And the last one, and Mitch is not here, he's part of the construction crew also. Mitch Toth received his Class A driver's license. Now he's eligible to be promoted or upgraded to construction worker 2, which also he achieved. So I'd like to give everybody a round of applause for those who are here and
Excellent
those who are
work.
not.
Okay, moving on to the consent calendar. May I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented, if there are no objections?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, please vote.
Public comment.
Did I miss public comment? Okay,
I don't think there is.
I don't think there is any, but.
okay,
we should
thank you. Thank you for that reminder. And the motion passes. Thank you all. Action items, action 2.1, the request to start 2 employees at steps higher than the general manager's current approval level.
Yes, so unfortunately for the board, the A team, which is Denise and Bridget in Human Resources, is at a Human Resource Conference today. So you're stuck with me, the B team, so be easy on me on questions. I'm hoping to be able to answer all of them. First off, for this item, 2.1, the GM has the authority through policy currently to hire employees within steps A through C. Our full salary schedule prior to or before longevity goes from A through G. Each step is roughly 5% along the alphabet. We have two positions that have been vacant for almost a year. The first one is Senior Compliance and Regulatory Specialist. This person has been vacant again, position has been vacant for around a year. This person that we're looking to hire has direct government experience, both in safety, compliance, and emergency management. The position's primary responsibility fits those scope. Their experience far exceeds our minimum qualifications, and they will also be relocating. She will be relocating from Texas, I believe. So we are recommending step D, which equates to about $7,000 annually more than the GM's authorization. The second position is also a very important position, especially for all staff, is the payroll technician. The position's also been vacant roughly a year. We actually had a person in this position for a little bit, had to resign for family reasons. And we went through, I think, 3 recruitments on this, maybe 4, but 3 for sure. We got a very highly qualified person from another municipality. She has over 20 years experience there, so obviously far exceeds the minimum qualifications. And we're recommending a step F for hiring that position, which would start at roughly $13,000 annually above the current GM authority. So with that, if there's any questions, staff recommends hiring both positions, one at step 3 for the regulatory compliance and the other one at step F for the payroll technician position. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. What questions do my colleagues have? I have a question. Are we approving this on a one-off basis for these two at the moment? And then perhaps we are going to revisit and discuss whether or not we make a modification, or how is it?
This
Could you
is,
just
the item
clarify?
before you today is for these two positions. The board can take action wholly for both at the same time or separate them if the board chooses. Separate item being discussed through committee will come at a later date for board consideration.
Okay, thank you. Any comments, questions? Okay, then I will entertain a motion to move staff's recommendation to start, to approve the request for two employees, starting at step D and step F respectively.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Great, and it passes. Fantastic. Okay. Okay, moving on to action item 2.2, call for nominations to the Local Agency Formation Commission. Do I have any public speakers for this item?
No, we do not.
Okay. General Manager, do you know, do we need to make a decision on this tonight?
No, the nomination deadline is February 26th, I believe. Yes, February 26th. We do have another board meeting between now and then. So if there is a consensus among the board to move this item to the next board meeting, then we could do that or take action today.
Okay, I would like to hear from Director Pinnock. I would like to hear if there are other folks running as well. And I recommend that we table this until the next meeting since we have time. May I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Are you
Do we,
motioning to table?
Yeah, moving to table, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I will second. Any discussion? Okay, please vote. Okay, great. Then we will take it up at the next meeting where we have all of our board members present. Thank you. And I think that's the end of our action items. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Reports. General Manager Gumpel.
Yes, I have a short report today. First off is about the update with the rains. So as the board is aware, in January from my email, we had a small sewer spill from the first rainstorm in January 22nd. Since then, staff has taken proactive measures, and I give the credit to Ed and his team, changing the way we operate the system, being proactive in the way we maintain it, and where we have flexibility to help maintain sewer basically in the pipe. That being so, even with more rains in this last storm, which started Monday, so far, we have not had any spills. I almost hesitate to say because we're not quite out of the woods yet. And I can feel Ed looking at me right now. So, but I do want to give credit where credit is due. Ed and his team made some modifications to the system, was proactive, and that has largely kept us in compliance both at the treatment plant and within our sewer collection system. The strategy works and worked, and obviously we're going to evaluate that and make sure we put it into our standard operating practices for rain events such as this. Again, no strategies can overcome every single type of event, but knowing that we have the ability to basically stretch our system a little bit more does give us a little breathing room. The second item is actually kind of already mentioned. So we are one of the agencies that are on the list for the municipal service review with LAFCO. I've been through 2 municipal service reviews in my career, one down at Otay and one here at Vallecitos already. We haven't been notified that it's going to happen, but I want the board to be aware when it does. From a district and staff standpoint, we have no concerns with them. However, it does take a significant amount of staff time to address the questionnaire and the follow-through. Once or if it does happen, I'll update the board through a future GM report, and if there's anything to actually agendize, we'd bring it to board or committee as appropriate. Last item is the heliopod. As the board is aware, we've been working with San Marcos and the county on putting basically, it's called a heliopod. It's a helicopter accessible water tank to fight fires regionally. We partner with them. The Vallecitos actually partner both financially and through labor and organization. At this point, I believe we are, and I'm looking for Ed's nod, is pretty much all up to date, and we're really waiting on the county. So I think the city and Vallecitos is pretty much done. Once it's done, we will be organizing through Chris's group and the city of San Marcos and county basically a ribbon cutting event. We will work directly with the president of the board and/or through the P3 to kind of organize that event and report back. If it happens between events, obviously we have some say in the schedule, so we're going to help organize that. But as the information comes available in dates, at this point we're hoping to do it sometime or beginning of March. Now we're looking at probably towards the end of March, but there will be more information coming as soon as we know from the county of San Diego.
Great. Okay, thank you.
That will conclude my update.
Okay, thank you, thank you. District Legal Counsel Gilpin.
Thank you. I just wanted to give a short reminder relative to our use of social media. AB 992, which took effect in January of 2021, clarified how public officials can use social media in terms of communicating with the public. There's a balancing between the public communication and communicating with other board members relative to soliciting approval for certain items. So pursuant to AB 992, a public official such as yourself may communicate on a social media platform, which is, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. You're familiar with those, to provide information to the public or to solicit information from the public regarding a matter that may be coming before the board. The caution here is, the general rule of serial meetings is you can't have serial communications with more than a majority. But pursuant to 992, they would view anything on social media such as a like or that of another director's comments as a potential Brown Act violation. So the cautionary tale on this is when you're reviewing other social media posts, not to comment or respond to those because they could be construed as a Brown Act violation. But you're absolutely free to use the social media platform to answer questions and to provide information to the public and or to solicit information on an upcoming item from the public. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you for that reminder. San Diego County Water Authority.
Okay, well, the Water Authority held their formal board meeting for January on the 25th. A couple items of note that the board adopted a resolution establishing the vote and representative entitlements of each member agency effective January 1st, 2024. Joe McKenzie just told us about that. That was amended to reflect the Fallbrook detachment, which was effective January 1st. Another item, the board approved an amendment to the professional services contract with Black & Veatch Corporation for the San Vicente Energy Storage Facility Owner's Representative Professional Services for a period of 24 months in the amount of $2.4 million, increasing the contract amount from $2.322 million to $4.722 million. And one other item of note, the board awarded a professional services contract with Hazen and Sawyer for a not to exceed amount of $592,123 for the long-range demand forecast update project. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Encina Wastewater Authority.
Yes, we had a meeting on the 24th of January. We approved the final approval of the reconditioning of Digester 4, and we reviewed the specific plan progress, and those were the two items. Our next meeting is on February 28th. I will be at the Aqua CSDA conference. I don't think Director Pinnick is going, so I think he'll be at the meeting. I don't know if we have an alternate that could take my place. If that's the case, the alternate should attend, and I call that the end.
Great, thank you. Standing committees. You want to talk about P3?
Sure.
Okay,
I'll start us off
Sure.
anyways. I think we had a really productive P3 meeting this past week here on Monday. Covered a number of different topics, including mentorship, some opportunities for that, and kind of reworking the way in which we take on interns and mentorship in general in the district. And so we're trying to build a more cohesive plan that will take into account all of staff's capabilities as well, and moving forward with that, as well as a brief update on a draft proposal from Terra Verde on the fleet electrification. So got some positive movement there as well. And I think the other kind of big topics anyways was that will be coming up in a future general meeting here is the opportunity to be moving the retention from 1 month to 1 year for district emails, as well as adding bill reduction and assistance programs awareness to the bills moving forward.
thank you, thank you. That was very comprehensive. The only thing that I will add is that we will be revealing our seed library project out in front of the building. It's a very beautiful box that Lisa Urabe painted, hand-painted, and it is going to be a seed library that folks can deposit seeds or they can take seeds, and we hope that it'll build community, build gardens around the area, and I think it'll be a tremendous service to our district. We also now, at this point, have a draft, a start of our climate action plan called the Climate Progress Report, which I am very, very proud that we have a start to that, and we will be continuing to look at, we will be continuing to work through in conjunction with others, in conjunction with folks in other districts that are doing something similar, and I am just beside myself that we have something in writing here. So thank you. It was a very long meeting, but as Director Grosset mentioned, it was very productive. And the P3 committee has been instrumental in bringing forward the scholarship program, the internship program, mentorship opportunities. And the benefit of doing that is we have a lot of opportunity, but now that we've sat with it for a little while, we have our fifth intern from Palomar College starting. We're seeing ways that we can improve it and consolidate it and standardize it. So that's what Director Grosset was referring to, that we are going to be examining all of these opportunities to try to make sure that they are efficient, that they are providing benefit to the district, as well as benefit to all of these folks that are going to be coming through our doors and potentially, hopefully, working for us at some point. Yes?
Could you put that in the email to us? The
This,
climate action
Sure.
program, whatever?
sure,
Yes, thank you.
sure.
Staff will provide that to all the board members, and
Thank
it'll
you.
also be
All right.
it'll also be in the minutes of the P3 agenda.
Yep.
All right, perfect.
And I believe it is just it's a draft right now, so there may be some discussion about maybe if folks want to revise it before it goes out to the full board, but so far, we have a draft, so that's exciting. And again, we do have our fourth intern starting, yes.
I'm sorry for this, but just a word of caution, when you're circulating that, while it's a draft, it's the committee who's preparing it, and they should not be soliciting input from other members of the board
Okay.
relative to that draft, because that would be, again, a serial meeting issue, so.
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
the committee will bring it back to the board, and at that point, you can solicit board input on it.
okay,
So yeah, we'll keep it at the committee level.
Thank you.
And then we'll bring it back to the full board once it's been developed a little bit further.
okay, thank you for that. Keeping us on our toes and keeping us out of trouble, appreciate that. Okay, director's reports on meetings, conferences, and seminars attended.
Yeah, I attended the CASA Winter Conference, I think it was January 24th through the 26th. A lot of good subjects on the agenda, a lot of emphasis on what they've termed the water circular economy, which is resource recovery of many different things out of the wastewater stream. Also emphasis on getting money through the Inflation Reduction Act, which sounds like there's a lot of red tape. The IRS is handling that program, which probably isn't a good idea, but, and the other was finding innovative ways to accomplish permitting for various wastewater discharges.
Thank you. Would anyone else want to comment on CASA? I'll follow up. So I also attended the CASA Winter Conference, and I attended a roundtable on community outreach. And there was a gentleman who has, it sounds to me like it's a municipality that controls their water, but they have a specific person designed or designated to perform community outreach, and they formed a partnership with their CTE, their local, what does it stand for? CTE. It's trade education, something trade education, and we have done that here at Vallecitos too. So that was nice to get that validation, but I'll be coming to the P3 with some of the ideas that were shared at that round table as well. It was, we've done a great job reaching out to our community and involving folks at Palomar and CSUSM and the high schools, and so we can continue that, and it sounds like other people are already doing that a little bit farther down the line, so there's no reason for us to have to reinvent the wheel. We can just take their best practices and run with them. I also attended a meeting about climate change and risk, and it was by the U.S. Water Alliance. It was a webinar, and I have provided an email to General Manager Gumpel, but it was an interesting perspective of how extreme weather events, such as the one we're having right now, really impact risk, and not only just risk with infrastructure failing, but also, for example, credit ratings. And I had never thought of it that way before, but I've passed that information on, and it is something that, irrespective of whether you believe climate change is man-made or not, we are having extreme events, and it has the potential to impact our finances in more ways than just having to outlay for infrastructure repair. It could impact our credit rating, and we're very, very proud of our AAA rating. So we need to keep that strong. So I'll be anxious to see if there's any follow-up to that. Any other meetings? Okay. Other business. Any other business that we need to talk about other than comments and future agenda items? Which do you think is next?
Did everybody receive this from the Water Authority, Lakeside Water District? Their annual, their 100-year anniversary?
Oh, okay.
Well, I received it personally, and it ultimately is asking for us to make a honor to have you attend or any formal acknowledgement of our milestone to help our community celebrate. They have a sample resolution, and I'm suggesting that perhaps we take a look at this at our next board meeting for us to do that, unless we're already doing something.
And we are, so I've received it also, and I talked also directly to the general manager, Brett, at the CAWU, actually at the last luncheon, so I knew it was coming. I believe their 100-year anniversary is, I can't remember the date, but I thought it was August, but I could be confusing that.
They say July.
Okay, July.
Yeah.
So they need it just before July, so Chris and his team's gonna be working on a resolution, and they'll also, if there's an event, we'll let the full board aware of any type of event that can be attended. So stuttering. But the resolution will be forthcoming. It'll be later. There's no rush in it. They sent it out early, so it'll be coming probably this summer or June,
Perfect.
May, June.
Great. Thank you, and thank you for that, for bringing that to our attention. Any other comments or future agenda items? Yes.
Just wanted to thank all of our wonderful employees for keeping us safe during this tumultuous, significant weather event. So you did a tremendous job and are continuing to do a tremendous job. Thank you.
Yes. Here, second that.
I do also have another comment. Excuse me. I saw today on Facebook that Helix excuse me, was promoting their scholarship. Their scholarship.
Yes.
And I think that might be a thing for us to look at when it's our time to put our scholarship in place, to put that out on Facebook and see what develops there.
So the good news is we've already circulated on Facebook, and we do have to upgrade the scholarship amount, and we'll be going around a second time to circulate it. So we'll be hitting the social media site twice, and it's already been picked up by several of the high schools and the other colleges, and shared by them. So
Perfect.
it's
All
out
right,
there,
great.
and we'll update it.
All right.
And I have two more announcements or comments. Project Next, which is the organization that we've been working with at Mission and San Marcos High School and Twin Oaks, to helping make ready high school students for a career. They're doing a Cesar Chavez Day of Action, and they are working with EDCO on this, and EDCO has donated $1,000. I would like to have a discussion on a future agenda if this is something that we can participate in and support in some way. I know in the past we have supported charities in our community, like Boys and Girls Club, and we've paid to attend chamber events. So I'd like to have a discussion around if this is something that there's appetite to do, if there's a way that we can support them, since we already have a relationship with Project Next. It's a cleanup day, so it actually does impact water. And so if someone will second putting that on an agenda, we can have that discussion.
Second.
Great. Okay, so it's just Project Next, Cesar Chavez Cleanup Day. And finally, I was notified a couple of days ago that I have been accepted into the U.S. Water Alliance Climate Action Leadership Institute. So I'll be heading to Miami at the end of the month to participate in that, and I'm looking forward to hearing. It's in Florida, so I'm looking forward to hearing how they're managing climate change, extreme weather, and hopefully be able to bring back some ideas and some solutions. Anything else? Great. Okay, short meeting. We are adjourned.